Hello everyone, hope you're all doing well, and welcome to my sale review of my Samsung EcoBubble washing machine. I know it would be a bit more ideal to have the doors open, but I'm quite cold and I'd like to keep all of the heat in the shed. So I would. This machine's meant to be going in like within an hour or two, but I can't really see that. There's that part of me that's starting to doubt that that's going to happen at the moment, but we'll just see. So we will. So this is the Samsung WW80J5555FW/EU. This washing machine was bought brand new during 2020. So it was, I'm pretty sure, and it was used by a family for about how long? About 4.5, around about 4.5 years probably, maybe coming up towards 5, and then it broke, and I ended up getting it as a wee freebie, and I ended up fixing it, and here we are. You may remember whenever I showed it, I opened the back of it, and all inside it was black, so it was with carbon dust. In the end, I ended up putting a new motor and a new set of brushes on it. It was an absolute nightmare finding the right brushes for this machine, but I got there in the end. So I did, and in the end I actually found out I think it uses the exact same brushes as the Dyson Contour Rotator. I think from the images of their brushes that I'm seeing, they look like exactly the same. So I got all that fitted and cleaned it all up, and it fully works now. I got to use quite a lot of the cycles on it, so I did. The only ones I didn't use was Wool, Bedding, Delicate, and Super Eco Wash, which are typically generic cycles, and then Super Eco Wash on this one, if I turn to it, it doesn't allow any higher than cold, so I wouldn't like that straight off. So yeah, Trump's quite big for an 8 kilo, although I have to say the suspension on these Samsungs are stupidly bouncy. These machines are absolutely terrible whenever it comes to spinning towels. So they are. It was banging about quite a bit with a load of shed rags. If this machine's sold today, which I'm hoping it is, I unfortunately never got to do a load of my the towels from the house in this machine on a boil wash, so I didn't. I only got sticking shed rags in it. If I come to the drawer, this is the first time I've ever used a Samsung washing machine with this type of drawer on it. My nanny Samsung that they had before the WW80K came, it had the bigger softener compartment, where the blue bit only took up the back bit. It didn't go right to the front, it only went to about here, and I think the compartment was a bit wider. So it was, with the way that the Samsung drawer is, it's kind of tilted backwards. So it is, so whenever you pour in the softener goes to the back of the chamber, so it does. So you'd technically think that it took it in early, but I did get used to it in the end. As you can see, the max line, there's like barely a gap between the max line and the bottom of the drawer, whereas if I take like this LG for example, you can see there's quite a big difference, or even more so like the Miele W1 for example. See? Yeah. So did take me a wee bit getting used to that, but in the end I was fine. I stuck the softener in at the start pretty much every time, except for cycles where I wasn't too sure about. Pre-wash was compartment's a good size, and so was the main wash. This machine of course was all singing, all dancing, like your typical Samsung. The song is very long on it, so it is, as we know. And so there was times at night time where it was, quite long, and I ended up muting the sound. It's quite nice that with this one, if you mute the sound on it, it mutes absolutely everything. So I suppose that's quite nice. Whereas I think the new ones only mute the end tune, and they still do all like the wee beeps and stuff. Yeah, I'm going to be sent a lot of this video, aren't I? I'm just doing this on the fly. The EcoBubble was something I always saw as a gimmick on Samsungs, and saw it as something that never really worked at creating bubbles. But with this one, it actually worked quite well. So it did. I did notice, it foaming up, up with a thin film of bubbles quite a lot. So I did. Whereas sometimes before with past Samsungs I've used, there's been times where they haven't created any bubbles at all, whereas a normal washing machine would. So that was quite interesting. So it was to see that. I think the fact that this is obviously a non-auto dose model, again, a lot better than the Series 5 Plus that I had. The clothes came out of this machine smelling nice, so they did all the time. So yeah, cotton was a good cycle, except whenever it took the time down significantly for a small load, because if it detected a small load, it ended up reducing the temperature, particularly on 40 and 60. 60, quite a few of the time, 60 done 50 on me, and then the cotton 40 done 24 with a load of work stuff, which I wasn't too impressed with. Let me think. The boil wash though was very good on it. I think it done pretty much 80, which again, absolutely amazing. It's really nice that you can change the number of rinses right up to 5, or drop it down if you want to. Again, yeah, it's only been Samsungs that I've had with that. And something that's really interesting with this one is that you can select on all of the cycles if you just want to do like a rinse and spin on them, which is really cool. And again, you can do it so that it's just a spin only on that cycle. Like, you can do that on all of them, so you can. It's absolutely amazing. So, like, say if you hand wash something in the sink, you could have it so it does like rolling rinses and a spin at the end. It's just really flexible, so it is. Or you could even like set it, like you could turn the rinses off and turn the spin on the rinse hold, and it would do like your main wash and then soak at the end. Again, just a lot of customization on it. You could get away with doing a lot of custom programs on this machine, so you could, which is quite cool. So like you could start the wash on cottons, and then you could finish with synthetic deep rinses. Just really cool. I think something I'm going to say is that the quick wash, even though you can bump it up to 1200 RPM, it never spun at 1200, it always done a short 800 spin. Although it is quite nice that this one does go up to 40, whereas the older ones were limited to only going up to 30. Daily wash, I only used this once so far, but again it was quite good, so it was. I got to use every option, so I did, except for easy iron. I never got to try that out, so I didn't, unfortunately. But it doesn't really matter, as it just lowers the spin and takes away in-term spins and stuff like that. Dark garment, you could get away with using that as a quick wash for a small load, because the rinses weren't as deep. Whereas daily wash ended up doing deeper rinses up to the drum rim. Again, a lot of adjustment by the machine, but definitely not as much as AI. It's nowhere near as infuriating as AI was, so it wasn't. I could stick this machine on, and I'd know 9 out of 10 times the clothes would come out clean. Very, very well washed and rinsed. Whereas, of course, there is that one time where maybe it uses that little bit too little water on like its rinses and stuff, but it didn't bother me at all, because I've kind of like adjusted myself to low water levels and stuff, so I have. As far as repairing the machine went, it was really simple to take apart, really simple to put back together. The only frustrating thing I had was putting on the door seal band. So it did take a wee bit to get that back on, because it kept on wanting to pull the door seal off with how tight it was. But I ended up getting there in the end. But yeah, Eco Drum Clean was really good. So it was as well. Definitely one of the best drum cleans I've seen in a washing machine. And yeah, like, I don't really have much to say about it, to be honest. It definitely was not a bad machine. It was decent. So it was. Of course, Samsung, as we know, they're not quite my cup of tea. But this one, I definitely wouldn't say I hated using it and couldn't get rid of it fast enough. You know, even though I have stuck it up, I'm quite quick because I really want the space in here because of a lot of stuff happening. But yeah, like overall, I'm very happy that I got to have this machine for a wee bit to try out and sell on. It was definitely a good machine to film and try out. Yeah, not much to say. Decent machine. Thank you all so much for watching, and bye bye Samsung.